brought to you by the Koalition. For the 12 tribes scattered worldwide. Shabbat. Woolly head, dark skin, son of the most high, yeah. Sing. Come on back there. Come on. I better get your money tonight. This meaningless is jumping to fly. Loosen up your bones too tight. It's okay, it's alright. Here's a message from the 12 lost tribes. The folk can make a sad baby stop crying. I make fish without fish start frying. I know you like it once you hear them stop lying. It feels good the more you better just try. It's okay, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright.
Shabbat, shalom, Shabbat, shalom, Shabbat, shalom to all of you, my heavenly Father's children, to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered worldwide according to the Holy Manuscript, shalom. To those bloodline descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, shalom. And to the companions of the house of Israel that are privileged to see the handwriting on the wall, waking up before it's everlasting too late. Shalom. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 11. Reads, then said I, it's in the Bible. Yahuwah, how long And he answered, until. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's what I want to preach about on this holy Shabbat. Until. If you all would be so kind as to place my subject in the chat to let the whole world know. The title of today's sermon, Until. Until. My cousin, Isaiah, said that it was in the same year that King Uzziah died that he saw Yahuwah. My cousin said that he saw Yahuwah sitting on his own throne. He said he saw his throne high and lifted up. My cousin told me that he had a robe and the train of his robe filled the temple. He said it was a representation of the conquering king over all of the kingdoms of the world. If that wasn't enough, my cousin said, he said, and around the throne was seraphim. He said, and when I looked up, they were great beings of fire. He said it had 6 wings. He said in the presence of Almighty Yah, they took 2 wings and covered their faces. And then they took 2 wings. With those 2 wings, they covered their feet. And then he said, and with the other 2 wings, they did fly. And they flew around the throne. on fire with judgment on their mind. And because they were being held back from executing the judgment that they wanted to, it was as though they could not hold their righteous indignation inside any longer. And they began flying side, forward and back, saying one to another, "Holy, holy, holy is Yahuwah Almighty." He said, and when they hollered, "Holy, holy, holy," their voices were so strong and so powerful that the foundation of the temple was shook and the doorpost was moved out of their places. He said, and I looked and the whole place was full of smoke. And when I saw the goings on, I realized at that time, and in that moment, I was a dead man. I realized I was done. I realized I was finished. My cousin told me that for the first time he really was able to not only see Yah and his heavenly host, he said, but for the first time I was able to see myself. And when I saw myself, for the first time in his presence, I said, woe is me, for I'm undone. I'm tore up. It's over. I'm finished. I'm a dead man walking. Woe is me. Oh, I done entered into the judgment and it don't look good. I'm standing before the King of the world and his executioners, and yonder I am in here. Wait, hold on. An undone man with unclean lips is over. And I dwell among the people. I live with people. I stay with people. I hang out with people who also have unclean lips. It's over for me. Why? In this state, in this sinful state, mine eyes have seen the King. Yahuwah of hosts. Anybody in the room watching the Moreh on this holy Shabbat? said, and that was his testimony biblically. Don't fool me. Put a 12 in here for the 12 tribes of Israel. Let me know that crystal clear understanding of what my cousin saw and what my cousin heard and what he felt and what he thought was clearly laid out on display on this holy Shabbat, made manifest for all the world to know. And told our Rabbi for those 12. He said, right when I thought it was over for me, right when I thought I was dead, when I realized I was wiped out and on my way to a burning hell, it was over. He said, yonder flew a seraphim. No, but he stopped at the fire and pulled out a live coal, pulled out a log that was still on fire. And he brought it over to me. And I said, oh, I'm about to be burnt up. He's about to kill me with it. But you know the record is that the seraphim having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar, he didn't kill me with it. He just touched my lips with it. What did he do? He burnt my mouth. He let me taste the judgment. Not the whole thing, just a little bit. Feel this. And that heat on my mouth made me realize at that moment, I don't want to go to hell. If this is a taste of judgment, turn me around. Fix me. Oh, my brothers and my sisters on this holy Shabbat. Oh, how I wish just one time you could enter into the holy place. I wish at least one time you would see our King high and lifted up on his throne, in his throne room of judgment. I wish you could see it one time. I wish you could see the angels of fire. I wish you could see the fire of hell itself at least one time. I wish that you could be brought so close to hell that you could taste it without going in it at least once. Because it'll change you. When you realize how close you are and how close you are to everlasting damnation, it'll change you. When you discover that fire really is hot, it'll change you. When you find out that the live coals hurt, it'll change you. When you realize that, yeah, you've been taught something, but you was taught wrong, it'll change you. Well, how you know, Morehyosh, it'll change me. You always talk about you the only. No, I'm not. I read Paul's testimony. Paul said I was on my way to persecute the so-called way, because there wasn't no such thing as quote-unquote Christians in those days. I was going to persecute those that were following Hamashiach. until he met me on the road to Damascus. And what happened? He knocked the sight out my eyes. You ever get hit so hard that you can't see? That was just a taste of the judgment. That's what Morehyosh going with. He didn't kill him, but took him there. Paul said, hey, I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, you my master. And he said, I'm Yahushua, whom you persecute. You don't know how close you are, bud. Kicking against the bricks. And in like manner, I too have been brought into that type of conviction. And that's why I cannot really boast or brag about it, because Paul said I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision. Did you really have a choice, son? Be honest, cousin. Did you have a choice? Said, yeah, but it was, if you want to call that a choice, if you want to call it a choice. He said I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision. And when Abba knocked me down, when Abba reduced me down, and I realized that I was also a worm in his sight, and I was guilty, and a candidate for hell like Isaiah. Why unclean? Living among the unclean. But hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The live coals from the fire did not kill me. The live coals from the fire healed me. No, boy, what? I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, it fixed me. No, I'm trying to tell you. And he laid it upon my mouth and said, lo, this has touched your lips. And thine iniquity is taken away. And thy sin is purged. Thy sin purged. Also I heard the voice of Yahweh saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Then said I, here I am. Behold me. See me. And if you see me, send me. That's what he said. Behold me. And then send me. Send me. Send me. Isaiah, you said what? I told him send me. You didn't kill me. And since you didn't kill me, send me. Since you did not destroy me, send me. Since you didn't cast me away from your presence, send me. Since you had mercy on me, send me. you will be the testimony, because they know more about me than everybody else. They know I'm undone. They know I got unclean lips because they undone and they got unclean lips. Send me back to them, and I'll be a light in the darkness. Send me back to them, and I will be salt in the blandness and the tasteless world. Send me. The enthusiasm of being sent on behalf of Abba by my cousin Isaiah was off the charts. From yonder he stands, thinking about the honor and the privilege of carrying Yah's word to Yah's people. Oh, how he would study. Oh, how he would prepare. Oh, how he would humble himself. Oh, how he would preach. He says, send me. Yeah, here I am. Send me. Send me, yes. And I'll go and testify to them of your mercy and your grace and your power to forgive. I'll tell them about hell and destruction. I'll tell them about your throne that sits high. I'll tell them about your robe that's been dipped in blood. I'll tell them everything. Just send me. And the optimism and the excitement is now welling up in the soul of Isaiah. Abba is going to use me to help redeem the house of Israel and turn them, the 12 tribes, to turn them from their wicked ways. And Yah said, go. He said, yes, sir. He said, now here's your message. I want you to notice before you go. Go tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat. Make their ears heavy and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. Wait, what? Hold on, wait a minute. My message is wait. So my message to these people is y'all gonna see it and not see it? That's right. Okay, so my message is that they gonna keep looking but not see it. Yeah, that's it. That's what you're gonna do. So is their heart gonna become a pure heart before you? No. Their heart gonna get worse. Their heart is gonna become fat and gross. Well, what about their ears? Their ears are gonna be heavy. So you mean to tell me, wait, hold on, what's my job? I got to study, yes. I got to pray, yes. I got to put together sermons, yes. I have to meditate on the word, oh yes. I got to figure out a great way to put it into actual, in sermonic order, in order that people can understand it. Yeah. So I'll be spending 60, 70 hours a week studying. Oh yeah, maybe more, son. And then I get up to preach it. Yeah. But they're not going to listen. Oh no, they're not going to listen. But they're going to hear me. Yeah, but they're not going to understand what you're talking about. So no matter how plain I make it, they're going to still reject the message. Exactly. Okay, so what if they put 100,000 in the chat while I'm preaching? That don't mean nothing. That don't mean they're going to do what you say. What if they tell everybody, hey, come watch the Morehyosh preach? Don't listen to that part. Because your teaching and your preaching, it will be for a testimony. Okay, so, yeah, it kind of pulled the rug out from under me a little bit there. Yeah, I'm not saying that I ain't still excited that you're calling me, but boy, it'd be nice if you would have kind of told me before I said, here am I. It'd have been kind of nice if you'd have just informed me before I said, send me. You sending me on a kamikaze. You sending me out here to be beat up, to be lied on, to be talked about, to be despised. You're sending me out here among people that ain't gonna hear me. What kind of preaching is that? What kind of job is that? I have to preach to a people that are not gonna hear what I say, but I still gotta tell them anyway. I gotta preach to a people about the pending doom, and they're gonna be doomed anyway. Are you calling me to preach to a people that gotta come into the judgment? And I'm trying to get them to turn, and they won't turn. They going into the judgment anyway. Let me get it. Hold on. Yeah, just let me think about this for a minute. You want me to preach and tell people to get away from idols, and they're going to still have idols? Yes. I'm going to tell them to get away from Baal and Ashtaroth, Christmas and Easter and all that, and they still going to do it after I preach to them. He said, yeah. So I tell them to keep the commandments. And you tell me even after I tell them to keep the commandments, they're going to break the commandments? Yes. So I'm going to tell them about a captivity that's so wicked and so cruel that they'll lose their name. They won't know their own last name. They won't know their own language. They won't know their Torah scrolls. They will not even know that they're in a covenant. They won't know that they are your chosen people, the apple of your eye. They won't. I'm going to tell them that they're going into captivity where they're going to be treated worse than dogs and cattle. She said, yes, she's going to tell them that. But they're not going to listen to me. Mm-mm. And I'm going to have to watch them go into that judgment anyway. That's exactly right. My cousin Isaiah said, I thought about that for a minute. I said, oh boy, what did I sign up for? What did I volunteer for? He said, then I thought about changing my mind, but the alternative was going into that fire. And I just tasted the fire. It just touched my lips. I couldn't stand that. So I said, well, I got a choice. Either I got to face the wrath and the fire of Yah in the judgment, or I got to face the wrath and the fire of the people that I'm trying to preach to. I got a choice. Which one of these, which wrath would I choose? Which one? Which side? Would I rather fall in the hands of angry people, or would I rather fall in the hands of an angry Elohim? My cousin said, I thought about it. I said, yeah, no, I'm going to go on and do it. I'm going to go and do it because when I think about, look, I'd much rather fall in the hands of angry people than be in the hands of an angry Elohim who's already forgiven me and cleansed me. So how about I do this? I can't quit. No, I'm in it now. I told him I'm here. Send me. So what I'm going to do then, I guess I'll just raise my hand. Yes, Isaiah, you have something to say? Yeah, I do. I just have one question. I'm not saying I'm a quitter or nothing like that. I just do have one question. I'm not saying you tricked me or nothing like that. I'm not saying I was deceived, and I'm not saying I was led astray or none of that. I'm not saying that I thought one thing and it actually was another thing. I'm not going to say all that. Well, I am going to ask you a question if it's all right with you, Yahuwah, Elohim. Just going to ask the question. How long? That's all. My question is a simple question. I'm going to do it, but how long? How how long? How long will I be employed in this type of service? How long will I preach to those that have ears but won't hear me? How long do I have to do it? That's all. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it because I volunteered. I'm in it now. I get it. It's a life and death situation, but how long? Do I have to study like this to put together messages? To stand boldly in front of the whole world and declare, thus saith Yahuwah. How long? How long will I have to bear with those that lie on me? How long will I have to endure the ridicule? How long will my messages fall on deaf ears? And the word fall on stony ground? How long? How long will I have to go to work in the kingdom? Is there any type of early retirement a plan? I mean, you know, is there a severance pay? I mean, like, what if I get out here on your word and while I'm out here on your word, preaching and teaching full time, nobody supports, and I go hungry? How long do I have to do that? How long do I have to teach and preach and people not give tithes and offerings to the ministry? How long? Am I just stuck in this situation? I don't want to know how long. That's all. I just, just let me know that if I'm preaching and it's dark days, if there's so many dark days in a line, can I tap out? If y'all don't know what that is, they got a fight out now. I don't even watch it, but I know about what it is. When one person give up in the fight, right? They go in the ring and they fight. And when they start to lose, what they do is they tap out. And when they tap out, the ref say, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. Don't kill him. That's what the whole point is. You tap out. Say, don't kill him. Don't kill him. And then they let the other man get the award, and the one that tapped out, he go and hopefully recuperates. In this work, I'm just asking a question. When it get bad, can I tap out? That's all. If they don't pay tithes and offerings and I'm struggling out here and my family is struggling, can I tap out? If all of a sudden people call me a liar because I'm showing them the Bible and the lies seem to pile up so high that folks say, don't listen to him no more. If that happens, can I tap out? That's all I'm asking. How long I got to do this? How long? What if we ask people to just like the video and people come in the room, stay an hour in the room under the preaching of the Moreh and won't hit a like button? Can I just tap out, please? Something as simple as a like button. They won't even do that, yeah? Can I tap out? They won't pray for me. They won't send the ministry a nickel, dime, or quarter. I just want to know how long I got to do it. Can I tap out? If I'm getting beat up, can I tap out? If my body is racked with pain, can I tap out? Why, if I am being persecuted for righteousness' sake, do I have to keep going or can I tap out? Because I've lived long enough to see others who claim to have worked for you. I have seen them tap out. Yes, I've seen them start off right and end up wrong. I've seen them quit. I've heard their testimony. Yes, I used to be an Israelite. Yes, I used to follow Torah, but I went back to the white Christian church. Oh, you tapped out. Yeah, I tapped out. I started missing Christmas and Easter, and I said, what's the big deal? I tapped out. I hear people making testimonies. You don't have to follow no dietary law. Oh, you tapped out? I saw a so-called Moreh made me sick to my stomach. Brought in a whole bucket of swine and put it in the face of the Israelites in his organization and told them to eat this to show that you don't believe in the Torah and in the dietary laws no more. And he forced his congregation to eat it, and he filmed it. Yeah, can I tell out? Because these Negroes, these Hebrews, These people that claim to have been with you, they have obviously tapped out. If you still rolling with the Moreh on this holy Shabbat, would you be so kind? If you understand what I'm saying, if you have spiritual discernment, would you be so kind as to put a 500,000 in the chat? My cousin said, I didn't write this, he wrote this. He looked at what the Most High told him. He looked at what he volunteered for. He realized he didn't really have much of a choice. So what he did was he said, well, how long do I have to do it? He said, how long? That's all I'm saying. How long? What a question. It was from the heart. Why anytime we volunteer to do something, most of the time when we volunteer, the duration of our involvement in the activity is normally placed up front. You know, we put on a lot of, we do a lot of Sukkots here at the ARK. Been doing them for years, since 2000. We did our first public one, I think, in 2014. And we were doing private ones since 2009. Can you imagine? We tell people, hey, can you come volunteer? They all want to know what we want to do and how long I got to do it. We tell, oh, we just need you to do this part just on 2 days. And they be like, well, can I cut mine down to 1 day? We need some volunteers to walk around the camp at night. They say, how many days I got to do it? First thing out their mouth. I'm volunteering, but how many days? So you got to go 1 day. Oh, okay. Sometimes they say 3 days. 3 days? Say, we need y'all to take out trash for do that. How many days? First thing they want to know, how long? How long? How long? Why? Because what they're saying is, I'll do it, but I really don't want to do it. I volunteer, but I really don't want to. But I just know I should, but I don't want to. Why? And our people are so hard-hearted sometimes. We have to remind the volunteers that they volunteered. I gotta go. I gotta go. But that's the way we are. It's a natural answer, response. When you think, and I got to get out of here now, when you believe that the burden is too hard to bear, you say, how long? When you began to think that the hill is too hard to climb, you begin to ask, how long? When you are informed that the journey is longer than you thought, you begin to ask questions like, how long? For the task at hand. Isaiah said, I hear you. the teaching, all the ridicule, all the being talked about, all the sleepless nights, all these wicked kingdoms and all these wicked. How long? And I don't know what he thought was going to be his answer. Yeah, because somebody can say, well, until you hit 50, then you out. And if you're already 49 and a half, you good with that. Oh, okay, woo. Okay, so okay, this is just 6 months of my life. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Yes, I'm still here. Send me. I'm good. But what if the answer, I got to get out of here now. I'm feeling something on this holy Shabbat. But what if the answer is until? My brothers and my sisters on this holy Shabbat, I read verse 11 so many times. Isaiah asked, how long? Yahuwah answers, until. And when I saw that, I said, until what? Until when? Number one, he said, until until the cities be wasted without inhabitation. Without inhabitant. Number two, he said, until the houses are without a man. Until the land is utterly destroyed. And Yahuwah have removed men far away. And there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. That's how long. Okay, I'm just trying to understand. That's all. I don't mean no harm. I mean no harm. I'm not saying I do not believe. I'm not saying I don't trust you. I'm not saying none of that. But what I am saying is, it looked like to me that my preaching is not going to affect nothing. My teaching is not going to do nothing. It's not going to accomplish anything. It looks like to me that that my pain and my suffering and my trial and my tribulation in the work of the kingdom will in return profit nothing. Because I thought the whole purpose of the preaching is so that the city won't be wasted. That we could save our city. And you telling me to preach until the city is destroyed. I thought that the preaching was to save the city. No, you're going to preach till the city destroyed. So I got to preach. And just get this straight. To try to tell people that your city going to be destroyed and they're not going to turn and save the city. Oh, no. But you got to keep preaching anyway. Okay, so, all right, so Jerusalem. Oh, Jerusalem. Going to be destroyed. The place where you said you have chosen to put your name there. Is going to be without inhabitant. In other words, your people will no longer be there. He said, yeah, you got it. Until Shemama, desolation, devastation, and complete emptiness. Why, that's the future. Yeah. And the houses without man. Yeah. So the city's destroyed. I preach until there's no man in the houses. And then the land is going to be destroyed, even though I'm preaching. As a matter of fact, you asked me how long. And I'm telling you. If y'all still in the room, put a 700,000 in the chat, please. Let the whole world know that you saw the answer. The answer is until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land utterly desolate. But what else? He says, until, I really got to get out of here now. He said until, he said until there is a national collapse. And no doubt, Isaiah must have said, so no matter what I say, the nation's going to collapse. Say, yeah. No matter what I say, our cities will be burned. Yeah. No matter how hard I preach, or how many sermons I preach, or how many prophecies that I declare, you're trying to tell me that the land is still going to be wasted. Yes. And that's not all. It's worse. Yes, Isaiah. You asked me how long. Until Yahuwah have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Wait. Far away where? To the four corners of the earth. No! Yeah. Preaching prophesying and seeing go together. And it's heartbreaking for the seer, the real preacher and the real prophet. Is heartbreaking. To see the people that you sent to see the people that you've been commissioned to help, and that you've been told to go to, still end up in the captivity that you warned them against. It hurts. Every true called seer sees it before it happened, and it hurts. I never shall forget when I finally humbled myself under the mighty hand of Yah. I never forget that he did something with my heart that I don't know if I should say it like this, because I don't mean no disrespect, but I kind of wish it was kind of undone a little. Yeah. All of a sudden I start caring. I start caring for the house of Israel. I started caring about the scattered 12 tribes. They started pulling on me for some reason. They never pulled on me before. But when I said yes to him, he showed me the disgusting state of our people in captivity and how we were never made to live like this. He showed me sickness. And he said, I could fix all that with just diet. Tell him to diet. And I said, oh, okay, let me go tell him to diet. Nigga, you crazy. Nigga, I'll go to hell before I stop eating pig. That's what they said back to the Morehyosh. Hey, man, that's caused by poison that you're putting into your system. Man, if that's called for by poison, then I just gonna be dying by poison. I said, oh my goodness. Hey, bud, you wouldn't be getting limbs and fingers and extensions cut off of you if you would just obey the Torah. All of that stuff could be handled through proper diet and exercise. I don't get what you say. I'm just going to pray over it. All right, Negro. And then I see our people. It hurts me. I see our people begging. When Abba Yah has given us the perfect law and the perfect instruction to be wealthy. And they would rather be stingy and broke than generous and wealthy. And I can see it and I can't stand it. It hurts my heart. And watch our people sell poison to each other. When we are supposed to be loving and caring and helping one another. And for the first time, I could feel it. I could see the satanic and demonic worship of Christmas, and people think I'm playing. Ah, man, he always say that. Okay, it's Satan. I taught about it. Do the history. They even show the videos. Hey, I watched this video, and they still do it. Because they still see the tree, they don't see the devil. They can't see Baal. They see Peter Cottontail. They see a rabbit laying eggs, but they can't see Astarte. That's working that to their demise. They don't see it, but the Most High showed me. I have to show the people. And sometimes, if I'm being what they call today transparent, sometimes I wish that I didn't care so much. Maybe I could get some more sleep at night. If I didn't care so much, why maybe I could have some more fun in my life. If I didn't care so much, maybe I could take a couple of more vacations, do a little more fishing, take some more walks, spend some more time with my children. But no, he's going to put in me this heart that care about y'all. That care about the lost sheep of the house of Israel and tell me to preach to a people who ain't going to do it. Who not going to listen. Who not going to obey. And look at me. On the Shabbat. Preaching to a people, the whole world, that the overwhelming majority are not going to take heed. They're not going to listen. But they're going to hear, but they will not respond. And instead of their hearts being softened, they will harden their heart against the word of Almighty Yah. Deuteronomy chapter 28. This has been in our Bible our whole lives. If you just started verse 64, talking about disobedience, this is what Moses wrote that Yah told him. And Yah shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth to the other. That's us. We've been scattered from one end of the earth to the other through a slave trade, not just simply moving to other places. We didn't just decide one day we didn't like where we were living and we just migrated. I keep trying to tell the South American people and others that come to this country, you are not equal to us here. Your struggle does not at all match ours, not 1%. You chose it. You decided you were going here to work for money, to send back home, to bless your house. We were carried away captives without giving a nickel, dime, or quarter into a land where we had to serve our enemies, while our homeland was trodden under the foot of the Gentile. We can't even go back home. They didn't give us no money to save, no land. How can a people be warned like this and do it anyway? Moses said you will be scattered among all people, and we said we don't care, we don't believe you. From one end of the earth to the other, and our ancestors said we don't believe you, we don't care. And they shall serve other gods, and here we are serving white Jesus. Caesar Borgia images. Law been done away with. Christmas and Easter. Muslim and what do you call that thing? Serving the stone. Got our people serving wood. Our heavenly our fathers did not know about that wood and stone. And among these nations you'll find no ease. We didn't believe that either. We've been on the bottom ever since, persecuted ever since, beaten down ever since, lied on ever since, held down ever since, controlled ever since, used and abused ever since, never in control of our own destiny, never to reach our own potential. Always got to fight through the man, fight through the system, fight through the establishment, fight through whatever they call is political correctness. We got to fight through what white folk like it, fight through what white people accepting, fight through what the image of they having, fight through this, and we can't never just be ourselves. We can't never be the best without somebody tearing us down. We can't never be the fastest. We can't never be the brightest, never the smartest without some type of trickeration from this community and from this world against us. Ever since we got here, they stole our strength. They stole our ingenuity. They stole our inventions. They stole our architecture. They stole our irrigation. They stole our air conditioning. They stole the stoplight. They stole the doorknob. Shoot. They stole the ironing board. They stole everything. No place for our foot to rest. No time have we been in control of our own life. But we operate in trembling of heart, failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. Our ancestors chose this life for us. We were supposed to be in holy Mount Zion. We were supposed to be sitting on 1,000 hills. We were supposed to be living where gold silver, silver flowed like brass, and brass flowed like rocks. We were supposed to be living in crystal fountains. We were supposed to be leading our sheep beside still waters. We were supposed to have so many vineyards that we didn't even eat the outside. Leave that for the strangers and the poor. We had so much overflow. Why our barns were supposed to be bursting forth with new wine. And our ancestors gave it up for what? To be in chains and shackles. And when the shackles fell off of our neck and off of our wrists, they stayed on our mind. And that's why I realized as a mover I can preach until I preach myself out. I had to realize something. They still ain't gonna hear me. How long do I have to keep doing this? The other day, I was in the bank with Jazz, and the man wanted to talk to me about the fact that I'm getting old, and I need to start looking toward my future. And he started talking to me about maybe, considering making these investments and trying to do this and that. He looked at me and said, I see all that gray. You getting old, bud. I know what he wanted to say. Boy, you almost out of here. You better start preparing for your daughter and your son, your children. You better start putting it together, right? He said to me, so when are you planning on retiring? When are you planning on calling it quits? When are you planning on preaching your last sermon? Doing your last Bible study? When's the last time you're going to come online and introduce yourself as Dr. Morehyosh, thou we ben Israel, to the world? When is the last time you're going to read the script? Pray a prayer. And when is the last time you're going to sing a song of praise? And when will be the time that you finally sing your song of benediction? And as I paused, Jasmine, my loving daughter, interjected with a loud voice. He ain't never gonna quit. What do you mean? She interjected. Listen, as long as he got breath in his lungs, he gonna preach. That's what she said. She told the man in the bank, he is in it till death. That's it. That's when he's gonna quit. Why? I thought about that. She gonna speak on mine like that. What? What kind of response? I can't speak for myself. But then I thought in my soul, I thought shouted in my soul. I said, hallelujah. 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 That I've lived a life in front of my daughter, who's now grown, to where she can testify about her own father to a complete stranger. This ain't no side hustle for my dad. She could testify to a complete stranger. This is not some afterthought. This is not some job that he just picked up and he can just put down when he reaches a certain age. No, no, no. For in her soul and in her spirit, she already knew that her father understood this until. And I believe I say this, and I bid you a farewell on this holy Shabbat. But when I read that, my cousin said, I did ask him the question. I really did ask him how long. It wasn't like I didn't. I asked him the question, and I wanted to know how long I had to preach. And he said, until. Now, as I surveyed this passage, I'm going to say a word and then I'll be gone for the day. Do you see verse 13? If y'all see verse 13, put a 13 in the chat. Let's let the whole world see it. Verse 13. Oh, how I'm grateful for this line. Yes, the people will be. There'll be a great forsaking in the land, in the midst of the land. But yet in it shall be a tent. What? Yeah. Now don't get too excited, but just know that the majority is still going to reject what you say, son. But keep saying it until. Why, they're going to say that you lost your mind, but keep preaching until. They are going to say that you are preaching false doctrine. Don't worry about what they say. Preach the Bible until what? Until that tenth come back. Now don't get excited because not all of that tenth is going to make it. But that tenth is going to come back. That's going to show you something. What? That the word is every now and then is being received. Every now and then somebody is hearing it. Don't worry about the 10 million, 20 million that don't hear you. But that one or two that does. length shall return, and shall be eaten as a teal tree and as an oak tree. Now pause. Let me explain this teal tree and this oak tree, and then I for sure will bid you a farewell on this holy Shabbat. But if y'all want to see what he means by this teal tree and this oak tree, put a 900,000 in the chat. Put a 900,000. What do you mean they coming back like a teal tree and like an oak tree? He said, woo, told everybody for the 900,000. And lest I forget, let me say one more time, support the work of the ARK through the tithes and the offerings. If these messages are helping you, help us continue to reach the world. Support the ministry. Pray for us all the time. We need it. The teal tree and the oak tree are very interesting and was a very powerful part of this prophetic word. Because the teal tree and the oak tree had a very interesting characteristic that we see in these trees that are not necessarily in every tree. While the teal tree and the oak tree, while can be cut down. It can be cut down. It can be cut down. The enemy, they can come and cut the tree down. And as the tree has fallen, it is a matter of time before the limbs on the fallen tree begin to dry up. The leaves that are on those limbs begin to wither and fall to the ground. And yonder the tree looks like a skeleton as it is exposed to the heat of an everyday sun. And passers-by will say, look at that dead tree. It was such a powerful tree at one time. The oak tree was one of the strongest trees in the forest at one time. It was fruitful, it was bountiful, it was beautiful at one time. But now look at it. Chopped down. Dried up. The withering and the disappearing of the leaves make it look like that all hope is gone. But what the enemy does not know is that the teal tree and the oak tree has a very powerful constitution. It has a very powerful life force. And the stump, don't do it more here. I got to. I'm out here now. I might as well go and keep explaining it. I say the stump. Yeah. Maury, the stump. The stump. The stump. Yeah. The stump. What? The stump. The stump. The stump keeps inside of it the instruction of how to regenerate just in case the top of the tree ever get cut down. I said the stump. The stump said, well, hold on. Just in case this tree get cut, why and the enemy walks away laughing, wagging their heads in disgust and disdain. And they leave the stump. Why they don't know that the stump, just the stump. Don't do that. I can't, because they say, now there you go preaching. Oh, I can't help it. I said, the stump. That's how, can you say it? Why it's got the power within itself to do what? Why, it'll push out of its side a tender branch. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Why, it can, and it will push out another branch. It'll push out another shoot. yeah, really what it's doing is pushing out another tree. And that's what Isaiah said. He said, yes, whose substance is in them when they cast their leaves, sow the holy seed. What? The remnant. Yeah, I'm not talking about that what was cut down. I'm talking about that which is sprouting up. I'm talking about that holy seed. For the same word is used in Isaiah when he says in chapter 11, verse 1, come go with me as we come to a close. And there shall come forth a rod, where? Out of the stem of Jesse. That word Jesse there, that word stem there, is the exact same word here that represent the stump. And what Isaiah is saying is, even though the house of Jesse, which now represent the house of Yehudah, although it looked like it's been cut down, and it looking at it. That's it. That's what he said. He said, keep looking at it. Keep watching it. What am I watching, Moray? Just watch. Keep on watching. And you will see a stem. Yeah, keep watching it. You will see a green shoot. And it'll come out of the stump of Jesse. Why? That's our hope, y'all. How long do I preach? Murray, preach. How long? Preach until the nations, the cities are destroyed, the houses are desolate, and the land is. Preach until they carry the whole nation all over the world. Preach until we're cut down like an oak tree. But don't stop there. Preach until that stem of Jesse, yes, comes forth. Why? He's our hope. Preach until he show up. Preach until he validates everything you've been saying. Preach until he rescues the people from destruction. Preach. How long? Until when? Until the sky roll up like a scroll. Preach. How long? Until every high place is brought low. Preach. How long? Until every crooked place is straight. Until the darkness, those in darkness come into the light. Until the lost sheep of the house of Israel are found. Preach. How long? Until those that think that they are poor will realize that they're actually rich. Preach. How long? How long? How long shall I preach? I'm through. Y'all know that. I'm just preaching now. Preach until the scattered sheep are known as the gathered sheep. Preach. How long? Preach until the dry bones live again. Preach until the blind eyes see again. Preach until deaf ears hear again. Preach until lame limbs recover their strength. How long shall I preach? Preach until the 7 seals are loosed. Preach until all 4 horses and the horses' riders ride. Preach until the white horse take peace, the red horse declare war, the black horse declare famine, and the pale horse bring forth Yahrahn, the pestilence, the sickness, and death. Preach. How long? Until why? The cries of the saints that are before us are answered when they cry to the Master, how long before you avenge us of our blood? Preach. How long? Preach until the earth quakes. Preach until the sun become black like the sackcloth of hair. How long shall I preach? Preach until the stars fall from heaven like a fig tree would cast her untimely figs when shaken of a mighty wind. Preach. How long shall I preach? Preach until the kings and the great men and the rich men and the captains and the mighty men and the slaves and bondmen and free men, in the rocks and ask the mountains and the rocks to fall on them and hide them from the face of the one that sits on the throne. That's how long you preach. Preach until the heavens open. Preach until your king mounts his trusty white steed. Preach until the world knows that he died, but death didn't kill him. Preach until the world knows he was buried, but the grave didn't hold him. Preach until the whole world knows he was translated from here, went up yonder, and is on his way back. Preach. How long? Until you see his name faithful and true. Preach. How long? Until you see them eyes like flames of fire. Preach until you see that robe dipped in blood. Preach until you see the sword coming out of his mouth got two sharp edges. Preach until you see him treading the winepress of the wrath of Yah all by himself. How long? Until what? Until you see his new name. That's all I'm saying. I gotta go. I said until you see his new name. Ooh, you ought to preach. Oh, talking about how long? Until what? Until the great war of Armageddon. Preach. Until the beast and the system is cast into the lake of fire. Preach. Don't stop preaching until the images of the beast are destroyed. Preach. Until the remnant has been redeemed. Because there is a small remnant. And you may not meet them, but some of them are going to be grateful that you preached until. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to preach until. I'm not done. I'm preaching until. Until what, Morey? Why, until I see New Jerusalem coming down from above to sit down on Mount Zion. That's how long. Until. Why preach until all of the tears have been wiped away by the hand of our King. Preach. How long? Preach until we all are gathered at home. Preach until we all get a robe. Yeah. You got a robe, and I got a robe. All y'all's children, we got a robe. And when we get to heaven, we're going to put on that robe. Oh, yes. Preach more, Ray. How long shall I preach? Preach until the angels shout hallelujah. That's how long. Preach until the redeemed begin to say so. That's how long. I'm done. Y'all know I'm done. Woo! Put a 1 million in the chat. Until. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. Why? Until. I'm going to preach until my change comes. That's how long I'm going to preach. Until this corruption put on incorruption. That's how long. until this mortal puts on immortality. That's how long. Until death is swallowed up in victory. That's how long. Until I go through the walk-through closet of the grave. That's how long. When I pull off sin and put on righteousness, that walk-through closet, I walk in, but I pull off wrong and I put on right. And I pull off the temporary and put on the eternal. I pull off the dirty clothes and put on my long white robe. That's how long. That's how long. Until my change comes, Yahrahn. What about you? Put a 1 million in the chat. What about you? You got to be in it 100%. How long? Until. Woo, my mind is running 1,000,000 miles an hour. I gotta get out the room now. I'm going to preach until I see him. The one who died for me, who saved me. I got to preach until I see him. The one that called me. The one that apprehended me. I'm trying now to apprehend him. I'm preaching till I see him. Until the wicked cease from troubling. That means they stop bothering me. Until the weary are at rest, which means I can finally have shalom. That's how long. Until I sit down at that welcome table. Will you be there? Will you be there? Abraham will be there, and Isaac will be there. Jacob will be there. Will you be there? David will be there. Will you be there? At the welcome table. You know, Matthew will be there, and Mark and Luke and them, they all coming. You're going to be there. Isaiah will be at the welcome table. Don't you want to talk to him? And Joel and Amos and Obadiah and Zeke and them, don't y'all want to do that? How long? King said until. Until my change comes. I gotta go. Ooh, oh my, oh my. Until I'm done. I'm just ooh. Stay in the Torah, stay in the truth. How long? Until. Once again, don't forget to pray for the Morehyosh. I pray for you. Pray for the work of the ARK. Pray for the awakening all over the world. Support the work. How long? Until. Because I'm convinced, based on what the Bible is saying and based on how I read it, I'm really more and more convinced every day we don't have much longer. We're getting ready to see some things. And I want him to say, good and faithful servant. You wasn't perfect, you did everything right and all that, but you was good and you was faithful. You stayed in it until. Now just come on up a little higher. Come on in and enjoy. Enjoy the bounty in the house and the inheritance that Abba Yah has prepared for you. I gotta go. I love y'all. Shabbat shalom. And just remember, if you're ever prompted to wonder how long, remember Yah's word. Until.